Hello, this is Jamie, part of Plan to Can 2025, hosted by Jenny over at Jenny's Scratch Made Kitchen. There will be a live giveaway on March 3rd at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Here I'm going to make carrots. These are not homegrown. I did not do very well with homegrown, and what I'm going to try again this year. These are store-bought. The recipe calls for 6 to 9 pounds. The method I am using is the raw pack, which means I'm going to place my raw carrots after sliced, diced, and washed in a clean, sterilized jar. And then I'm going to add hot water to them, and then I'm going to process them for 25 minutes. I hope you'll follow along and go over and check out the other channels that are participating in this. And let's get started. Rings and vinegar, my poker for debubblers, whatever you want to call it, magnetic for lifting up these so you don't have to keep your fingers all over them. Yeah, you see it works. My funnel, my jar lifter. Here's my vinegar and my canning salt. I have the 16-quart Presto pressure canner. I have 4 pint jars that have already been washed. They're sitting in here getting nice and hot. Over here is my pot of boiling, well, it's not boiling yet, but it will be, water. And we will get busy with that. Always be safe. Always check your rings, your vent. Make sure that your lid, make sure your rubber seal is good all the way around. Make sure that you can pick this up and see through it, blow a hole through it, make sure everything's clear, okay? And thank you, Jenny. There will be a giveaway on March 3rd at 3 p.m. Eastern Time on the Miller Life Kitchen channel. Let's go over what you need. I don't have that many. So it says calls for 6 to 9 pounds of carrots, and you use 2, about 1 to 1.5 inch in diameter. It says salt optional and water. Prep: wash your carrots under cold running water. Cut off the stem ends. Peel carrots, slice, dice, or leave whole. It's up to you. Raw pack is what I'm going to do. Keep the water hot, and then what we're going to do. Once my water is hot, I'm going to take these carrots and I'm going to fill in my pint jars. And then I'm going to add the hot water. I will take you along, but I'm just letting you know the process ahead of time so that I can focus on what I'm doing. Like I said, it's always good to keep whatever recipe you are doing on hand. Don't try to go by memory because we all can be forgetful. I don't care who you are, what you say. Something could distract us. So, I'm going to do 1 jar at a time. I like to have my canner preheating a little bit. That way it gets your jars piping hot, and you know what I mean? Helps to sterilize them. Now I'm going to put my carrots in here. That way when the water's boiled, nice and piping hot, I can fill them up, stick them back in the canner, and then we'll go from there. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. Try to get in here as many as you. I guessed, because it was only 2 pounds of carrots, that please keep everything sterile. Botulism is no joke, okay? It's like carbon monoxide poisoning. It's a silent killer. You don't know. And you don't know. And so please keep everything sanitized, sterile. Try to keep your veggies and whatever you're canning close to the same thickness and height. These carrots were long, but I cut them in half. Try to make them fit into the jar. You can also tap these down, make a little bit more room. You want to keep your vegetables under the water. Not over it, under it. That's when you can get bacteria setting in, and then you'll have some green, black, nasty mold on the top. flip it around, make it fit. Okay. Now, let's swap out jars. I'm just trying to keep the jars nice and warm. Get ready for my hot water that I'm going to put in. These have been washed. They're just now in the canner. You don't have to cut your carrots this way. You can cut them however you want to. You do you. The main thing is to process, as your USDA book says, and for your elevation. I'm actually below sea level, so I do mine, which most everybody does, is 10 to 11 pounds of pressure. Okay. I'll adjust these as I fill them. I took 4 pints because I just looking and guessing. I assume that's enough. I love home canned carrots. They're really good. And no, I did not buy these. These are store-bought. Thank goodness it didn't fall on the floor. I would have cried. Please go over and check out the playlist. Everything will be listed in the description box below. I think I did the right amount. Doesn't matter if they fall down. You want to get them as many as you can in there. I'll rinse that one off. I mean, it landed on my lap, didn't go on the floor, but I hope you guys can see this. Yes, my hands are clean. I will process these pints for 25 minutes at 11 pounds of PSI. I don't have the jiggler. I have the regulator, which is already set at 5 pounds. Pressure canning, you do not want to force anything. You let nature take its course. Do not remove the lid right off the get-go. Don't remove it from the heat. Just let it sit there and come down to pressure all on its own. If you do it correctly, it is safe. I never walk away from my canner. I'm always in the vicinity of when I'm canning anything. I don't care what it is. I'm always right there close by. Always close by to the canner. I actually sit by my electric stove to keep an eye on it because I start out high. I don't know who the guy was, but I liked his way of doing it. It seems to work well for me. It's easier to raise your pressure than it is to fly it all the way up there and then try to get it brought back down to temp. I've tried both ways, and for me, it's easier. I start out at, like, I put mine all the way up to 8 because I've done this a while now, and I take it down when it reaches certain intervals. Like, I'll take it down 2 or 3 temps per couple of pounds. You just got to make sure that you keep an eye on it. Bring it down gradually. Just don't leave it. I'll show you if you want how I do it. It works for me. It's going to make my video a little longer, but if it can help someone, then that's what I'm here for. Right? So, remember, push them down in there, get them in there. You're going to have to debubble these. Right? You want to keep 1-inch headspace. And for pint jars, it's a half a teaspoon of of canning salt. And for quarts, it's 1 teaspoon. This is a low acid food, so you have to add some kind of salt. And it doesn't call for vinegar or anything like that. Alright, I got my hot water, my carrots, my half a teaspoon. I'm going to put that in first so I don't forget. Half a teaspoon of canning salt per jar, pint jar. And we are going to fill it up to a 1-inch headspace. It has the marks on it. But once you do it a while, you will know exactly where that 1-inch headspace is. Let's get this in there. Okay. Now we want to debubble and see if there's anything that's sticking up. Your debubbler has your increments on here. It's hard for me to see, but it's 1 inch, 3/4, half, and 1/4. So an inch is right here. So I would put it here. Go check it all. Water level looks good, but now we have to debubble. So there's no air bubbles in there. Now you see the water level went down, so I'm going to have to add some more. This is also, you can get siphoning from there, not getting your air bubbles out, not using your proper headspace, inconsistent temperatures, like I was explaining. You go from too cold or too hot to drop the temperature. So if you find that your thing is wet, don't turn your canner off. Don't turn it off. Just adjust it slowly. That's why it's very important to stay with it. Make sure there is no residue on here. And you want to center that. I like to make sure that you can feel it if it slides too much to one side. That feels good right there. So it's very important to follow the safe guidelines. I'm going to put this on like this and just a 1/4 turn. Okay? Put this back in the pressure canner. Half a teaspoon of salt. So my recommendation is to watch a lot of safe canners, do your Googling, get your USDA book guidelines, grab a couple books on Amazon or what have you. There might even be some at the giveaway. Who knows? But I do know on the giveaway there will be a pressure canner as a giveaway. Debubble. The best thing about canning your own, growing your own, canning your own, is you know what's in it. Did you see me put any preservatives in that? No, you did not. Check the headspace. It's got to be 1 inch. Go all the way around. That's good. Headspace is very, very important, y'all. It'll help prevent siphoning. Make sure that's correct. Look at me. I almost didn't do it. Wipe the rim with vinegar. That gets rid of the stickiness and it helps with the seal. Okay. Try not to touch the rubber seal on your lids. Make sure you have it centered. If you don't have it centered, it's not going to seal as well. I've seen people actually hold this down and then put the lid on the ring. If that, however makes you, and you don't want to pipe down on it. You just want to quarter turn. As soon as you feel it hit, quarter turn. Not even that. You can hold it. I started holding it because I had some old jars and they weren't, the lids didn't fit properly, and I didn't think to check properly when I done it, and they didn't seal. So now I'm using 4 jars lids, quarter turn. Debubble. If they stick up, feel free to snap them in half. Shove them down in there or take them out, whatever makes you comfortable. Whatever you are comfortable with. Oh, that hurts my fingers. Got some cuts on them. Alright, now I'm going to check again. Inch all the way up, the last notch on your thingy. Wipe. Vinegar, paper towel, whatever you have. Now, if this was something ooey gooey and sticky, I would not keep using the same thing, but this is just hot water soaked in vinegar. Okay. Got lucky, got both at one time. Just make sure it's on there. Yes. And get tight. Finger tight. Alright, I got my 4 pints of carrots in the stove. Alright. I'm going to put on the lid. Starting ready to go on. There's a V that matches up over on the side. And then you just want to turn it so it snaps in place. Now you want to crank up your temp till this button here pops up. And then once that pops up, that means it's building up pressure, and then you wait for 10 minutes after it's producing steam before you even start to count. And after 10 minutes of steam have released, then you'll put on your regulator and you'll start your timer for 25 minutes for pints. Okay, so here we go. This is not the time to put on your regulator, even though you can see some steam coming out of there. Do not put your regulator on. You want this to pop up, and then you want that to vent for a full 10 minutes. Then you put your regulator on, and then you watch. Alright, it's popped. Now start your timer for 10 minutes. And let that vent for 10 minutes till there's a steady steam of stream. Alright, my timer's just went off. Alright, now we're going to bring her up to that pressure. And what I'm going to do, I'll explain it to you. My temperature on my stove's at 8. Once it gets to 4, I'm going to drop it down 4 psi. Then I'm going to drop my stove down to 6. And then when it gets up to 8, I'm going to drop it down to 5. Okay? That's how I keep control of mine. It's a lot easier that way for me, especially with an electric stove, that you know how the burners go on and off. So it works for me that way. And then once she's up in here, it can go a little over, just not under, okay? And I'm going to let them can for 25 minutes. Alright, she's hitting 5. I'm going to lower my temp on my stove from 8 to 6. Alright. Do not start timing until you get it to 11 and keep it there. Alright, that took about 20 minutes. She is at number 6 on my electric glass stovetop range. And she's at 11 pounds of PSI. So I started my timer for 25 minutes. Just keep an eye on it that she doesn't go up into that danger zone. And adjust your time accordingly. Do not leave it unattended. I will see you all once she is done and I'm taking them out of the canner. Alright, time's up, y'all. You're not going to do anything. You're going to turn off the heat. You're going to leave that on there and you're going to wait until that comes all the way back down to 0. And we'll bring you back. Alright, you guys. 4 beautiful jars of carrots. Remember to wait 12 to 24 hours. Remember to remove the rings. Wash them off and put them in your pantry. Please go over and check out the other channels. Bye.